LGBT plus rights are a controversial and taboo subject in Kenya. Being gay has been illegal since 1897, when the area that is currently the Republic of Kenya was under British rule as the East African Protectorate. Norms of homophobia were instituted across the Protectorate by the British and continued to exist under the new Kenyan Republic that was declared in 1964, following the achievement of independence the previous year. Strangely, laws concerning the subject were somewhat vague and generally unwritten, until they were formalised into direct law under the new 2010 Kenyan Constitution, which explicitly banned same-sex couplings and sexual acts. Despite the official status of homosexuality in the country, there are a number of popular movements attempting to fight back against this constitution, as well as movements attempting to educate fellow Kenyans on the reality of homosexual people, and to decriminalise homosexuality in the country. These groups vary wildly, from individuals to religious groups such as the Cosmopolitan Affirming Church, which creates a safe space for homosexual Christians in Nairobi, to artistic groups such as the Nest Collective, who, in 2014, released the film Stories of Our Lives. Stories of Our Lives is an anthology that presents 5 short films that are all dramatised true stories of LGBT plus life in Kenya. The film originally started as a documentation project by the then anonymous members of the Nest Collective, who travelled the country collecting audio interviews and testimonies from members of the LGBT plus community in Kenya. However, as the group collected more and more stories, they realised the potential that these could have in a visual medium. And so, the group decided to make a film, entirely from scratch, with the 5 different testimonies being turned into scripts, and as soon as each script was written, it was pretty much shot immediately, leading to quick shooting times. The collective managed to receive funding from the UHAI East African Sexual Health Rights Initiative, totaling to around $15,000, allowing the production team to facilitate the paying of actors, transportation, and the securing of locations. Despite this on-the-fly approach to filmmaking and relatively big budget, the project still took 8 months to film, as between the filming of segments, weeks, sometimes months went by before the collective was ready to film again, due to a variety of different factors, from scheduling conflicts to issues concerning the personal safety of the cast and crew because of the officially unacceptable subject matter of the film. According to an interview with Extra magazine with members of the collective, none of them were filmmakers at the time of shooting, and so had to learn filmmaking while they were filming. This inexperience of the crew led to the decision to shoot the film in black and white. The lack of colour in the film reportedly allowed the production team to not have to spend money on set and costume design, as well as allowing the filmmakers to use mostly natural light sources so as to avoid any serious lighting disasters. This results in a film that captures Kenya from a very personal perspective, leading me to see parts of Kenya that I've never seen on film before, such as rolling fields just like we see in England. And while you can definitely tell the film was shot on a DSLR, I do not think that this takes away at all from the film. In fact, I really feel that it strengthens the rebellious and grassroots feel of the film, helping you connect more and empathising with the real stories you're seeing. After production wrapped, the collective spent some time trying to find ways to release the film, as they suspected it would never be released in Kenya, and it turns out they were correct about this. The film was refused classification under the grounds that it promoted homosexuality, which is illegal in the country. However, the film did end up securing a festival circuit, debuting at the Toronto International Film Festival. It was at this 2014 edition of the festival that 3 of the filmmakers, director Jim Shushu and executive producers George Gachara and Nyoki Nagumi, first revealed their identities to the outside world in an interview with Extra magazine. While all 3 of them were extremely nervous about revealing their identities, they all felt it was important that their names be attached to the film as a way of showing solidarity with the individuals whose stories they had based each segment off of, and as a way of further cementing the message of the film, that the people in this film and the people that they are representing are all fellow Kenyans. George Gachara stated that, "My hope is that this film will go into the space that allows people to see each other beyond the headlines, as just more people with more texture and more stories." Unfortunately, Gachara would be arrested later that year. However, not for his sexual identity, but for allowing the film to be shot without a license given from the Kenyan Department of Film Services. Strange indeed that these are the reasons that he was arrested. However, the charges were later dropped. In summation, this film is an incredibly brave one, and is also one that, admirably, is not entirely focused on just depicting the difficulties of LGBT+ life in Kenya, but also shows the joys found in the relationships between these people. It is also an extremely well-crafted film, especially for a bunch of people who were just learning how to make films while making the film. Definitely check this film out if you want to see a unique perspective wrapped in another unique perspective. An LGBT+ perspective wrapped in a Kenyan perspective. I cannot claim to know what it feels like to be the characters in this film, but thanks to this film, I have gained a level of understanding and empathy to some unique and even relatable stories. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this BlumenFalck film talk look at stories of our lives. I really enjoyed this film. We're going to be endeavouring to look at more international films. If there's any that you want us to look at, doesn't necessarily have to be recent, it can be old. I will then check the film out, do some research on the national background of it, and then give a little essay like this one. I hope you're all staying safe. Thanks for watching. See you soon.